recommend. Roll call, please.
All right, Chair Gary Dalrymple.
Yes.
Vice Chair Matt Schuler is excused. Debbie Dean. Here. Alder Kathy Hinkes.
Here.
Steve Service.
Here.
Melanie Crummer is excused. And Renita Robinson.
Present.
Excellent. Motion to approve the agenda, please. Steve.
Second.
Debbie, all in favor, stand by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Yes, thank you. November 4th, minutes of the November 4th meeting.
Motion approved.
Second. Motion accused, Debbie. Questions or comments? Not all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, good, thank you. Regular business number 1. Consideration of possible action to award $204,000 of funding to support Veterans First of new housing development. And that is,
Will's going to handle this.
Will, please.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. All right, so Veterans First of Northeast Wisconsin is a nonprofit organization constructing 21 units of affordable supportive housing for veterans who are struggling with homelessness. In addition to offering housing units, on-site supportive services will be provided as well, everything from physical therapy to mental health, and really looking at a holistic approach to addressing the various needs of our veterans who are struggling with homelessness and coming out of homelessness. This project is located on the former Brown County Mental Health Center site over on St. Anthony Drive. The project is currently underway. Phase 1 is under construction right now. They're doing site work. Our department has received plans for their community center and has already received plans for the housing units. Additionally, this has already gone through our plan commission as well for the approval of their plan unit developments. So all in all, they're looking at constructing 21 homes of affordable housing for our veterans. The total project cost is $4,430,585. And due to some of the unexpected discoveries of that working on that old site, primarily the foundations, some of the foundations from the previous buildings that were on that site, and some of the related utility work and excavation, the project has incurred overruns. So it helped offset these budget overruns. Veterans First has submitted a request for our TDA funds. Staff has reviewed and underwritten the request and is in support of providing the $204,000 on a reimbursement basis. So really, we wouldn't be receiving or cutting a check up front. They would be submitting invoices and requesting payment as the project progresses.
You said that the reimbursement process, so we're going to reimburse the $204,000? No.
Right, so what happens is, so instead of, like a grant award, you might see where somebody presents a check up front for the whole amount. This is done on a reimbursement basis. So as they're incurring costs and development costs, they are submitting those invoices to us, and then we provide the reimbursement up to the $204,000.
Okay.
And so attached in your packet, you'll see a site plan and renderings of the project. Is actually quite nice. This is the first of its kind of a developments in our area. And so we're really excited to see something like this take shape. And is also meeting a currently unmet need in our community with providing those supportive wraparound services to our on-house veterans.
Is that the central building? So I assume the little guys are the 21 and then the, what kind of program are we talking about out of the centralized building? Do you know that?
So a number, it's more like a flex space there, but a number of variety of services. We do have the developer on site or in present here in the meeting, and they can speak to the different types. So there's everything from mental health to physical wellness to job vocational rehabilitation. So I'm looking at employment, AODA services, and they already have a number of commitments from area service providers who will be coming on site to provide those services. In addition to a number of commitment letters from supports for the construction, various materials. This is a project that, now granted, I've only been working for the city for just about 9 years. I've never seen so much community support behind a project before. Just the stack of commitment letters for not just the service provision, but then also materials and construction as well. So
Bottom line, when all said and done, we would be spending $204,000.
yeah, so 4.6% of their total development cost.
And from an engineering perspective, justified?
Yep, so this meets this type of housing meets code. We wrote a planned unit development, a PUD for this site, an overlay.
Mhm.
So that's something that already went through our plan commission and passed and already went through city council and was approved there as well. So really Veterans First has all of the city approvals pending right now. I believe their building plans for the homes are under review right now, but just after a preliminary conversation with their inspection department, there's not any like glaring red flags, nothing that would be,
I guess my question was more from the overrun perspective, you guys looked at it and you justified? Okay. Questions or comments, please?
What percentage of this is the overall to Todd? How much will we have left? And is this the 25 funds or is this 26 funds?
These are our current funds on hand right now. So if our numbers are correct, so their request is 4.6% of their total development cost. If we awarded the $204,000, that would leave us with approximately 113,000 of TDA funds until our next reimbursement of funds, which we're expecting to seize it at the end of 26 is when we're expecting that major closure,
27.
where we'll see that influx of, I think, roughly or 2 million or over $2 million.
When do we see that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a small one. Diana can confirm, but I think it's 26, the end of 26. To that.
End of 26?
It would be 1/1 of 27. 1/1 of 27, so we'll hold it open 26.
Okay, so we would have 113,000 left for all of next year.
Mhm.
And you're cool with that?
Yes.
Yep. So this is, yes. We have an additional home fund as well for other construction projects, so this isn't like the last of our resources for supporting affordable housing developments. So this is something that we feel comfortable with.
Okay,
And
just curious, is this something the county is also matching?
Well, they are, I believe they did donate the land to the project. I don't know, I can't speak for the county. I don't know if there's any additional financial resources the county has committed to this project.
Okay,
you mentioned earlier, but who's actually doing the construction? The overrun?
I would have to ask the developer, is it Bolt, I believe?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, I was thinking, okay,
Yeah, both did the basic concept. We're general contracting it ourselves.
okay. Right, I guess. Okay, other questions or comments, Steve?
Just quickly, Will, this is the first in Wisconsin? Does this format exist elsewhere in the world?
Yeah, I believe there are tiny homes in Oshkosh and in Milwaukee area, Racine, Kenosha, I believe. This would be the first of the kind for Northeast Wisconsin here.
Green Bay.
And it's something that our inspection departments and our department was very, especially our planning department wanting to make sure that this is a product that, we can stand behind as well, because it's the first of its kind. So there's a little bit heavier scrutiny on it just to make sure that it's kind of sets the precedent, right, for future development, similar development.
There's two versions.
There's two versions. There's a 400 square foot and a 600 square foot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, move to approve.
Motion by Alder.
Yeah, second.
Second by Steve. Questions or comments in regard to the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Good explanation, Will.
Thank you.
Number two. Agenda item number 2, consideration of possible action on the request by Department of Public Works to approve the award of contract Parks 8-25 Light Memorial Park Pavilion to H Pine Incorporated in the amount of $4,958,656 to be funded with tax incremental district 5. We did get one communication from David Voss, who happens to be there, 1471 McMahon Drive, Nina. And let's see, then item number 2, I oppose the item. Please note, I understand the form does not register me to speak at the meeting, but I talked to him earlier and he would like to speak at the meeting. So I would suggest we,
Well, why don't we hear from, Director Ditchine is here for the parks to talk about the project?
Yes, please.
What it is and.
good point,
Sure.
Yeah.
Get a background on that.
good point.
Sure, yeah, so I can give you a summary. So that image is a rendering that our consultant did showing what we're proposing to construct. What this first phase of the project is the building to the left of the screen. So it's not the stage itself, it's that portion right there where the mouse is. So it's a park shelter that has a rental component to it. It has public restrooms, which we currently don't have any in the park. It also includes a concessions area where we can sell beverages and beer. And then there's an outdoor plaza area and a beer garden area for watching concerts. So that's what this will fund if we award the bid. We are proposing to use TIF 5 funding, which ends in that TIF is being closed out. And it officially expires at the end of next calendar year. So the intention is to construct this shelter by the end of December or mid-December. Actually, I think it's beginning of December is the completion date right now. And so that's what we're proposing to do. It went out to bid through the Public Works Department. We did get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bids, which was a good number of bids. Staff is recommending to award it to the low bid, which is the base bid, but we're actually proposing 2 alternates, alternate 1 and alternate 5. Alternate 1, so there's a portion of the roof between the building and the road, Dousman or Main Street there, where you could, the roof, it's a flat roof that's fairly low to the ground. You can't really see it in this image, but what alternate 1 is to replace like a rubber membrane roof with a synthetic turf roof. So it just looks more appealing from the road as you're driving by because it's going to be almost at ground level. And then alternate 5 replaces the railing on that upper deck, the upper balcony deck with a more decorative panel. So the base bid was just standard vertical pickets on that railing. The alternate would be to do something a little more ornate. So those are the 2 alternates we would recommend approval for.
Okay,
Dan, can I ask a question? Does this include showers? Because I know in talking to Brian and talking to planning, I said, whatever we put down here, we need to make sure we include showers for boaters as we try to bring more in. And we don't have showers or bathrooms down there.
No, this does not include showers. That was never in the scope of work that I was aware of. I never knew that that was an interest or a desire, but there is both a men's room, women's room, and a family restroom. And there's quite a few fixtures in each one, so it should accommodate large events. But no, it does not have showers. Because keep in mind that the boats that arrive there, it's transient docking and you're not allowed to park overnight. So
Right, but we want them hopefully longer term to park overnight. And having showers in the building, you know, all along there by Light Park. That brings in a whole another aspect into downtown, and with all the work that's being done down there, I just think we definitely need to include showers in that.
Well, this is
Otherwise, we're gonna have to go back and look at it if we, I mean, we need to attract boater traffic in the future. So that's where I'm at.
okay. Yeah, and that question regarding showers, that was never addressed with me throughout this project, so I wasn't aware that there was a desire to add that component to it, so, but it is not.
Well, yeah, it's a requirement if we bring boating, if we start bringing boating traffic in and we start renting those docks, which I'd like to see in the future, having showers down there for boaters is important. So,
Jeff, from a downtown perspective, you have an opinion on that?
No, I really, this is the first time I see this design and, so like I'm not really fully versed on, the long-term plan and future. If this is I've been to marinas in other cities. And, so I don't know if this is intended to be a marina or a community facility. So I question if the real estate and the number of docking facilities are adequate enough to justify captain's quarters. So I think that we have to have a better understanding of who are the primary users of this facility. And if it's not voters, and if federal dollars have been used for the infrastructure of some of these items, we may have issues with it being like private, available only to yacht owners to use the showers.
oh, no, that's not what I was trying to say. I mean, they're generally open to, and looking at this reminds me of Charlevoix. There's just quarters that boaters can use to go in, and the bathrooms are open to the public also. But there's usually showers that are locked, and that they can use. And I'm just thinking, a few years down the road as we, develop on the other side and as the coal piles and things leave, if we're putting up this structure, it would help.
Now, another potential component would be, are we trying to attract a marina that would provide facilities for the boating community? And, that's, I think will be helpful for our RDA members and the potential long-term manager of this site as to what the intent for use of space is.
And I guess just one thing to note is, as I mentioned, there is a family restroom component built into this. I think that there would be a potential that if there is a desire to add a shower facility to this building, I think there's a potential that you could convert that family restroom into a restroom with a shower in it. It'd be a little more difficult if you were to convert the other bathrooms, the men's and women's room. But that could be.
Yeah, I just want to keep this on the forefront. I'm not looking for a full-fledged boaters lounge, but I am trying to bring more boat traffic downtown. And I know, like you said, you can't stay overnight, but I'm hoping we change that over time.
Gary,
Yes.
add a little more perspective to this. So I think sort of the waterfront development strategy, particularly around the WPS site, it could be potentially a better candidate for some of that overnight boat traffic and shower facilities, especially as development eventually occurs on that site. This was really designed to be a combination event venue and park. And not necessarily that marina, if you will, though certainly there is.
No, I'm not even looking at it as a marina, guys. So go ahead.
So there is a dock there, and we talked about replacing that dock in the future as part of the future phase, but wasn't really contemplated now. So I do think the capacity, if you will, for boater traffic is somewhat limited on this site, though again, just we'd love to see that expand in the future. As is mentioned in the documents, this was a partnership between city and On Broadway. Our role is to fund phase 3. Which is not part of this, and that is the stage and the stairs and some other site improvements. We've raised 1.4 million to date. We still, we haven't put a ton of effort into that component just yet, obviously, because we're going to wrap up a different campaign first.
Right.
But we've had some pretty good interest and obviously investment in the project so far. And the portion of this, you may recall the design's been not only brought here, I think it's been brought here, but it's gone through Parks Committee and Council previously. So this is really looking at the construction documents and the approval of the funding. And the reason is because TIF 5, which is funding this, is under an MOU. And the MOU explicitly states that the funding needs to be used for this purpose.
Okay.
And so it's and it has to be spent by the end of 2026, which is why the project was split into phases, because we knew that our portion of the fundraising likely wouldn't be complete in time to be able to construct both phases at the same time. So to ensure that the city's TIF balance was expensed by the deadline, that's why this is proceeding now, and then our portion will essentially be built when the funding is fully available.
Okay, good comments. Thank you, Brian. I should ask for your comments earlier.
Looks awesome. Do you got a splash pad in there, Brian?
No, have a river.
I was gonna say it looked just like Charlevoix then.
Okay, back to the agenda item at hand, which was the bidding, in which we received 5 bids. And again, we have someone that would like to speak in regard to this. And the comments that I got, but please, or open the meeting. He's saying there's a flawed bidding and bid opening process which violates Wisconsin public bidding statutes. I'd like to have a motion to open up the meeting, please.
So moved.
Okay, a motion by Steve, I'm sorry, who was it?
Kathy.
Kathy?
Yep.
All in favor of the motion, please say with an aye.
Aye.
I was supposed to speak before.
You are. I'm gonna do it, I'm just opening the meeting.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
sorry.
If you wouldn't mind
The meeting is
coming
now
here.
open.
If you want to come up here.
So please, Dave, please speak, Mr. Botts.
I apologize, I'm hard of hearing, and I thought you were voting, so I
No.
apologize. Good afternoon, committee. My name is Dave Voss. I'm the executive chairman of Myron Construction Company. And my goal today is to ask you very, very, very respectfully not to approve the award of the contract Parks 8.25. And let me try to explain why. I was very, very in tune to bidding the project, and we have a Ben Wagner here from Myron, who's also the head of estimating for this job. Very beautiful job, by the way. Very, very beautiful park pavilion. I thought the architect did a great job. Let me try to explain to you that obviously, as this gentleman said, you have a great building, and underneath that building is a foundation. We all know that. Underneath that foundation has to be the soil to hold that foundation in that building. This is a very, very poor soil area, terrifically poor. The architect attempted to try to understand and build a system that would hold that foundation, that building up. Okay. They elected to go with what they call a helical pier system. And I don't want you, you're not all experts, and neither am I, but it's a system that you use, that you drill down in the ground and your foundation is put on top of that. It really never said in the specification, do you go down 30 feet? Do you go down 90 feet? Do you go down to wherever? It really never said that. The contractors and subcontractors were all trying to figure this out. If you'll check, you'll see that your bid was actually postponed a couple days because they were working on trying to get the answer to this. Addendum 3 to your project. Now, first of all, I apologize for anybody. What is an addendum? An addendum is paper that comes out after the plans are done and gives the contractors, clarification of things, okay? Addendum 3 came out and in 8 different times, very emphatically, in this addendum, says, contractor, we are not telling you anymore how far to go down. We are not telling you what the system has to be. We're telling you, you are responsible to make sure that that building doesn't move. That's what this says.
Sure.
8 different times in this addendum.
Sure.
A very, very strong statement. Goes from helical piles to, we don't care. You make sure that the building doesn't go anywhere. Good statement. if you'll notice your bid results, if you can view them, there was a base bid. As this gentleman said, there was alternates to change some things in the building, very clear. There was also unit prices in the bid to talk about if you need more helical piles, if you need less, if you need more tests, if you need less. All of that unit price stuff should have been taken out of the bid form, because this addendum says, we don't care, Mr. Contractor, if you have to go to hell, you have to go down that far to find good soil. That's what it says. That's the way Myron bid the job. You also requested our bid to be on Quest. Quest is a system that it goes into a computer and comes out to you folks, highly used. I called the architect on bid day. I talked to the owner of the architectural firm, because I'm the owner of Myron, so owner to owner. I said, I don't understand. I fully get your addendum. I fully get your addendum that says it's your responsibility, Mr. Contractor. Why do you have unit prices in your bid form that asks to go deeper or lower? Not necessary. He said, we agree. I said, well, now you're confusing the bidders. Okay. I said, I have the system required to take care of that building in my bid, in Myron's bid. I said, we're not going to put anything in for those alternates, but unfortunately with Quest, you have to put a number in there. Otherwise the bid won't take the bid. So I put $1. That's the only way I could submit a bid. Ladies and gentlemen, look at all the other bidders. Okay. There's a lot of numbers in those unit prices. What they're, again, that I can only assume that they're, they picked a lineal footage to drive to, and anything over less they feel you're going to pay for. That's not what this addendum says. This addendum says if you have to go down 1,000 feet, Mr. Contractor, it's your responsibility. I have that. In fact, folks, we don't even have helical piles. We're driving 8-inch pike pile because helical piles will not work. They will not work. I have an engineering person that has said to me, they will not work. We have 8-inch pike pile. We're driving those to refuse it. Your number that is in the proposal today for you to vote on is not even correct. It's off by $140,000. Eight Pines bid is $4,725,547. It is not the number that you have written there in front of you. They've included the unit prices that they're not supposed to, and they used one number of each one. It is totally erroneous. On bid day, we asked the question. No, let me back up. On bid day, the reader of the bids from the city, I don't know who it was, each contractor's name was presented, and they said if addendas 1 through 4 were noted. Every contractor, your person's talking said addendas 1 through 4 noted. When it got to 8 Pine, they said the addendums were not noted. We heard that. The architect heard that in a different building. There's a lot of things here, folks, that are adding up. The numbers don't add up. The bid form from 8 Pine doesn't add up. We asked to see the bid form that day, and they said no. I respectfully ask that the city stop and take a real good hard look at this. We believe that Myron is the low bidder. No questions about it. I just heard a lady talk about a shower area. I have a big boat, I have a shower on my boat, so, but maybe that's something to think about. Maybe you should take the time to throw all these bids in the garbage and do it over and do it right. You got a mess right now. You're actually giving 8 Pine $140 thousand more than his bid requires. So it's a mess.
I think one thing we need to start out with is,
Well, I'm seeing, so first of all, his bid to do the job per addendum 3 that says you have the, whatever it takes, Mr. Contractor. His bid is $4,725,547. It is not the number in front of you. There is one unit price for 200 ton of additional off-site disposal. $75 is his unit price, that's 15,000. That's the only unit price that you can consider on top of his bid. Not any of this other stuff. Unit prices 3 through 11 do not even make a play in this bid. Addendum 3 tells you that. Addendum 3 tells you that. But the Department of Public Works, with all due respect, is leading you astray. His bid is $4,725,547 with $15,000 for offsite removal of contaminated soil. Nothing else.
doesn't Myron have a relationship with this?
I'm
other
sorry?
company? Doesn't Myron have a relationship with this other company, 8 Pine?
Well, sir, I'll tell you, 8 Pine was started by an individual that left Myron and started his own firm, yes.
Okay.
No bearing on that.
I
I
know,
mean,
but-
good competition,
I
everything else.
consider the relationship-
But in our business, you do it right or you don't get a job.
Right.
In this situation, between the documents which clearly defines you own it,
Mhm.
you don't get any unit prices. If you have to go down 1,000 feet to find bearing, that's your problem, Mr. Contractor. 8 times it says that in this addendum. You do not get any of these numbers 3 through 11. They are not part of your bid. It's erroneous. He gets 4,725,547 and $15,000. We also think his bid form did not identify the 4 addendums, and we also think that his subcontractor list is insufficient. But there's lots of things wrong.
Okay. Question for Mr. Boss, please. Oh, we got an open meeting. Legal, you want to respond to anything? Okay. Parks? Any questions or comments for Mr. Boss?
No.
No.
Thank you. I left my card there. If anybody needs it. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no one else wants to speak in this regard from the audience, we will, I entertain a motion to go back to regular business.
So moved.
Alder Hinkus, second by Steve. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Okay, we're back to regular business. We heard, from Mr. Voss, and we heard from Parks, and we heard from, legal. Again, from your perspective, Mr. Legal, and I haven't got your name yet, sorry.
Mr. Legal.
You didn't know with us yet, so I'm sorry. But anyway.
Now Mr. Legal.
Yeah, we have to legal from now on. As far as you're concerned, the process was done correctly, and then, are there any questions or after what Mr. Bob said? Any comments?
Yeah, I think asking a couple of questions, but I will address a couple of things here. Staff did review the process here and staff has made a recommendation as they're recommending to this RDA here. But otherwise, no, the law department would not recommend commenting.
Steve?
Well, I mean, foundations or not foundations or in an addendum or not in an addendum, I don't think it's necessarily the RDA's responsibility to police the construction contract and the parameters of its contract. I am curious about the bid form language and Mr. Voss went through some numbers that are different than the numbers that are on us. The Department of Public Works took bids and they were read formally aloud.
Yep.
And are those the same numbers that were in our packet?
I'll double check it, but I can't respond to that. I wasn't at the bid opening. I didn't actually review the bid packet, but I will look into
Right,
that.
I mean, I appreciate concerns about foundations all day long, right? Like they're tricky things.
Yep.
But you know, I'm not sure that that's underneath our purview, right? Like there's some contract language that has to be released. There's a set of documents that represent some work. And some contractors put some prices to that, and I suspect there's gonna be about the same amount of money that comes with every construction contract along the way of that. But if there's actual, I'll say shenanigans relative to the bid form or the public reading, I think we probably need to understand that.
Yeah.
W took bids, I feel a lot more comfortable with the statement from DPW about it, actually. Sure, I'm not.
I will tell you that, Public Works did read the bids. They have reviewed this memo and they supported, the recommendation. So that much I can tell you.
Chair?
Yeah.
Just as a procedural question, it's, I know this is here because obviously the source is TIF. Admittedly, after almost 8 years of doing this, I still don't understand sometimes where council has the final authority. So is this a recommendation to council because of the spending threshold?
Right.
Yes,
Okay, so the point being is that whatever's decided today would not necessarily be the final.
that's right.
Council will take this up next week, and there's some window in there, I guess, for our teams to review some of the things that have been brought up.
And I do just want to, one note, as I mentioned, the timeline for the TID funding expires at the end of next year. So obviously, the longer it takes for the RDA and the city to make a decision on this, that affects the window of construction that we have for this building. So we don't have a lot of meetings in December, as you know, because of the holidays. So I would just recommend we make a decision at the next council meeting. Whatever your recommendation to the city council is, though, that's to your discretion.
This is Kathy Hinkfest. The one thing that does concern me is the baseline of how we put the foundation in. And if we have one that's got a new and another construction company that's got built a lot of buildings around here, I mean, did we look at that, or was that we just assumed it was going to work? I mean, I don't want to put a building up that starts sinking.
Right.
And I also want to make sure that they'll go down as far as it takes to, make sure it stays.
So we hired a
There
consultant.
was some concern, I mean, there was some good information that was given by Mr. Voss that I don't think we should ignore.
So our consultant did design the foundation system with helical piles. They are comfortable with that recommendation. We did review this with them.
So you want
Okay.
Okay. We have to reopen the meeting.
I'm being honest, I'd like a little closed session. We'll talk about this, that's not an option.
No, because it wasn't on the agenda. It wasn't on the agenda. It has to be, it's still in closed session, it has to be on the agenda.
And that will be an opportunity for the council.
Okay. That's right. I asked the question about procedure because it would be plausible for this body to advance a non-recommendation or to even make a recommendation, but put some contingencies on it, like have staff
I like that.
explore XYZ.
I like that. The council's making the picture here, the council's making a final decision anyway. Right. So we could pass it on with certain comments or whatever. And not actually make a most final. We had to make a motion.
You could advance the item without a recommendation.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Other comments or questions? If not, I guess I'll entertain the motion.
I mean, we can move it forward without a recommendation, but hopefully by council, we'll have some of these questions answered.
That's what I like. Give staff.
Because there's only, I mean, we're only talking a $300,000 difference between the two, so.
Well, but if it has to go to 100 feet deep, that'll probably be more than that. You know, that concerned me too when he was giving all those different numbers and saying that it could change that drastically. And I just remember the project south of West Mason, you know, just south of the YW. And remember when they were trying to develop that land and they kept having trouble because they couldn't get it solid enough or whatever happened with that project. That's what it made me think about.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had to put a lot of extra money into it. So we just want to be clear that they're not coming back. And I think Mr. Voss raised issues that we should know before council. But we can move this forward without recommendation.
Got a motion, just alter interest?
That's a motion.
We're gonna make up that motion. Was that motion to move it forward to council with no recommendation from the RDA?
No, with a with no recommendation from the RDA, but then to address some of the issues before council that were raised by Mr. Voss. So council is aware.
I would say that.
Okay.
Director, will you just automatically put closed session language on that in case it's needed?
Good point. Good. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Questions or comments in regard to the motion? Not all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Voss. All right. Number 3. Consideration of possible action to approve the resolution authorizing the submittal of the RETA idle sites grant application for the redevelopment of the fire station flat site on South Broadway. What do you even see? Oh, Steve. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Rebecca's got this one.
Oh, Rebecca, please.
Yes, thank you. The WEDC's Idle Site Redevelopment Program is designed for communities to revitalize large, underutilized, or abandoned commercial industrial sites. Funding can be used for things like environmental cleanup, demolition, site prep, infrastructure, and other redevelopment needs. To transform those vacant sites back into contributing properties for the community. So as this group knows, but for those in the room who might not be as familiar with the project, the former Badger sheet metal site, so it's being known as the fire station flat, at this time is really going to do just that. It's turning that long idle brownfield site on South Broadway into the new Metro Fire Station with affordable housing, community space, and the public greenway. We're doing that in partnership with General Capital Group. Just for brief background on that. If we do receive this grant, the funds would be used toward the continued remediation of that site and preparing it for redevelopment. The city's done a significant amount of the remediation already, using U.S. Treasury ERA funds administered through Brown County. Some of those activities include asbestos abatement, demolition of the existing buildings, removal of underground structures and storage tanks, and essentially stabilizing the site for the winter. But there's still more work that needs to be done in terms of environmental remediation and also constructing a public greenway. The existing EPA brownfield cleanup grant will support some of this work, but there's still a need for additional funding. So that's why we're here today to request applying for this grant through the WEDC. We're looking to apply for the full $250,000 that's allowable under the grant guidelines. And again, that would help to fill that gap to prepare the site for redevelopment. The WEDC does require that we get a resolution through the municipality approving the applications. That's what we're here to do today.
Okay.
Asking the RDA to approve and then forward to council for consideration and approval next week.
Question.
Staff means to approve pursuit of a grant.
Correct.
Yes. A resolution allowing us to apply. It's kind of a formality in the application process.
Debbie needs to do it first, yes.
I would like to have your motion that, Gary.
I would like to second that.
Nice.
Great.
It's clear to everybody what the motion is.
Motion is to approve first.
Resolution of authorization to submit
Yep.
for a PVC idle sites grant application for the redevelopment of the fire station flats site south.
Excellent. A second, questions or comments in regard to the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, thank you. Down to informational, brownfields, I'm sure that's Rebecca. again.
That's me again.
Yes, nice report, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. So in keeping with this brownfield theme and also with our quarterly reporting requirements, I am here to provide an update on all three of our EPA brownfield grants. So just to let you know the status of those grants, we've had some changes and made some pretty significant progress since last I provided an update. We've got some slides here. Thank you, Stephanie. The first one is our EPA assessment grant. You have seen this slide before, so this one is more just a review of what the assessment grant is. It is a community-wide assessment program, so we're able to investigate sites throughout the community that may be in line for development, or we just suspect that they might have some contamination. We need to investigate further to see the condition of the site. This includes the phase 1 and phase 2 environmental site assessments, additional site investigations, remedial action plans, and then asbestos and lead-based paint inspections. So to date, since 2023, we have assessed 13 properties. And those are all shown on the map there. The next slide is the status of our assessment grant funds. Since it is the holidays, I'm going to use a pie, right? We've almost eaten all of our pie. We have just one sliver left. So we have expended 95% of our grant funds for this program to the tune of $474,121. And the little blue piece of the pie is the remaining $25,879, which represents 5%. So we are looking at closing out this grant. Once we do expend the remaining 25,000, we do have a project that we plan to utilize those funds for, so they will be depleted here as soon as we're done with that additional site assessment. So we'll be wrapping up that grant, and of course, that means we need more money. Right, because we want to continue the great assessment work that we've been doing.
Yes.
So as of right now, I am working with Stantec, our environmental consultant, to prepare another grant application for the EPA. So we'll be applying for that at the end of January and hopefully getting some more funds to add to that pot. The next slide just shows our grant funds expended per project. So you see the 13 properties listed along the bottom, and how much of the funds have been allocated and spent on each of those properties. There's additional detail in the spreadsheet that was included in your packets that talks about what specific environmental activities have been done or are currently underway for each of those projects. So if you have any questions on that at the end, we'll be happy to share, but this is just kind of a pictorial representation of where those funds have gone. That's the assessment grant. Moving on to our cleanup grant. This grant is specific to that Badger sheet metal site. So of course, if you've driven by, you've seen that we have made some significant progress there preparing that site for redevelopment. The $1 million grant, of which we've expended $61,422 so far, doing a significant amount of environmental remediation, as I mentioned within the previous agenda item. Again, we've done that abatement, the demolition, removal of the underground storage tanks, foundations, excavation and disposal of the contaminated sites, and prepared that site for the winter. Again, knowing that there will be additional work to be happening in the spring. This work was kicked off in July of 2022 with our demolition kickoff press conference, which you see in the photo in the top left. And we'll have some remaining city-led remediation that'll happen using our EPA brownfield cleanup grant funds. And then, of course, the WEDC Idle Sites Program grant that you all just approved applying for. So hopefully we'll receive those funds as well to add to that pot of funding. So if you can move on, Stephanie, thank you. And then the third is our Brownfields revolving loan fund. That's an $800,000 program, again, through the EPA that provides developer loans and grants to remediate redevelopment sites. The most significant thing that we've had happen recently with this program, it was intended to terminate in 2025, September 30th, 2025, but we're past that. But I'm still reporting on the program, which is good news because it means that we have applied for and been approved an extension for 2 years. So now we do have through 2027 to activate this program. We are working with General Capital for that Badger Sheet Metal project. We've submitted that application that's currently under review, expected to go before a loan committee, probably early January, I'd say right after the new year. And those funds would be used for General Capital's portion of the remediation. So essentially the management of additional construction soils, engineered barriers and capping, and a vapor mitigation system. So as we've been working on their grant application, that's where you'll see in the green boxes there, the city's cost share. We do have $160,000, that's okay, in cost share for which we're responsible, and that's essentially staff time, the staff hours, and then contractual services. So we've been working with our environmental consultant on that as well, so that's where those numbers continue to go up slightly with each update because we are progressing in that way and hopefully preparing to have an approved loan for that project as well. So really just getting all of these pieces of the capital stack in line for that project. And I guess with that, I think that's my last slide. I will gladly take any questions.
This was a recap for the shoot here.
Yes.
Very good recap.
This
Questions?
is very good.
Questions or comments for Rebecca? If not, thank you. Excellent job.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Financial report and check register, I had a couple of questions, but Stephanie answered them, so I'm all set there. I don't know if anybody else has some questions in regard to check register or our balance sheets. If not, director's report, project update.
So we sent out our development tracker. Of course, a lot of projects are currently underway, which is great. We had plans submitted by One Aspen, so they're gonna be able to basically make plans for us. Plans for RDA, which is great. We have had the opportunity to meet with Peter Vision for the 232 Cherry project. He's experiencing some financial gap on that project, so I'm working through that. Trying to figure that out. He's got a long meeting in January, so prepare for that. There's a lot of things that will be coming up. Will there be snaps? You would like some snaps. So we'll have some updates on projects.
Raging over the holidays a little bit, get that ready, that's all.
Maybe leftover snacks.
There you go.
We'll bring those up in January. And I just wanted to know that this will be the supervisor's last development meeting. Shannon is here. Shannon will be replacing Lisa. Luckily, we've been able to fill that position, so she's gonna be the new Lisa, but no one will ever replace the old Lisa. So are there any questions on anything going on?
Monroe had. 200 North Monroe.
Monroe comes back in January.
Yep, I seen that. Well, right now we just got a planning option.
Yep.
So we'll find out if we get a development agreement or whatever in January, right? Okay, questions? For Cheryl, Matt, or staff, or Mr. Mayor, questions, Mr. Mayor? Okay, our next meeting, I'm sorry. Okay, okay, the next meeting is January 13th. With that in mind, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Steve?
Second.
Debbie? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.